Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, come in again. You're very welcome today. I trust you enjoyed my last video from Eagles legend Glenn Frey. And obviously through his instrumental place in that group, as well as in his solo career, we looked at his life. And we also looked at the song Part of Me, Part of You. And that's what it is in relationships. You become part of each other's world. So I trust you found that one encouraging. We're going from there to an absolute giant in the big band era of the 1940s. This guy was born in 1904 in Clarendon in Iowa. Big band founder, big band owner, big band leader, big band arranger, big band composer, and he's also pretty good on the trombone. And his act was one of the most popular acts of the 20th century. The guy we're talking about is band leader icon Glenn Miller. Now, I got to thank my dad, who's no longer with us, who was born, that was the 1940s was his era pretty much. And now he loved Glenn Miller to bits. And so when I talk about Glenn Miller today, I'm also thinking about my dad at the same time. And it's great to know that we have memories to help us to remember our loved ones. So Glenn Miller, around 1921, so he would have been, 17, he decided, well, he'd done the whole high school thing and he didn't really want to do that. He said, I'm going to be a professional musician. And he absolutely did. And so he did many session gigs for a while, and he became quite sought after in the music industry. And it was around 1934, something around there, he formed the Glenn Miller Orchestra and changed music forever at this point. The thing that was bugging Glenn Miller was that he just didn't want to have the same sound that everybody else had. Of course, we had Count Basie, G. Kellington, and a few others who were doing their big band thing. He wanted to create quite a unique sound, and it was when he changed some clarinets and saxophone voicing around, he found the sound, and at that point, he changed music forever. So when you see the Glenn Miller story in 1953, that very much tells the story of him desperately trying to find this sound. He would try all sorts of instrumentations and arrangements, and it just wasn't working. But he went and just slipped the clarinets and saxophones around. He found the sound he was looking for, and the rest is history. Of course, fortunately, Glenn Miller did actually go to war, and it was in around the 15th of December 1944 that he died missing in action in a plane, and we just don't really know what happened. He was only 40 years old. So, another classic case of an iconic musician leaving this world really early. So cast your mind back. This is the day when there were clubs. This is when you dressed up with your suit and tie to go out. This is where it's all about your image and the way you looked, putting on the Ritz. And so we're talking about class, absolutely. And this is the society that Glenn Miller was in. He very much catered to that society, and because of that, he got a lot of success. Now you'll see when we get onto the clips, which I'll get onto in a minute, that, he had a little bit of fun on stage. A leader doesn't just sit up there and actually conduct with a baton. He is getting up with the trombone and very much conducting his amazing bunch of musos with a trombone. And so pretty compelling stuff, absolutely. And because of this guy, he pretty well set a legacy for generations to come. Of course, the song that you tend to think of when you think of Glenn Miller is In the Mood, and very much based on the 12-bar blues. So this guy was doing 12-bar blues before anybody else was. That standard 1-4-5 chord progression. And what we can say about In the Mood, first of all, he was well and truly in the mood because he had found the sound he was looking for. And you can see he's having an absolute ball on stage here. He's in the mood because people are dancing. You got up and danced in those ages. Actually, you didn't just sit down. You actually got up and danced. It's just what you did. And of course, you're on the dance floor. Kind of had to know what you're doing and just see the reaction of the crowd right here as they're dancing along to his music. In the mood just represents so many things. What mood are we talking about? Well, absolute jubilation and absolute glee and absolute life-giving sound right here. In the mood means I'm really on top of the world and I'm feeling really, really good. And you know, when those moments happen, I gather I do say a lot. I'm trying to change that, but here we go again. When you are feeling really, really happy, and you're thinking, wow, this is different. You're feeling on top of the world and life is just really, really good. We wonder how long it's going to last for. I think what we've got to do is, I think because these moments don't come along that often, we're talking about that deep down resonance of happiness feeling that you have. We've got to get over it and celebrate the fact we're having it, because you know what, life tends to take those feelings away, but when they're there, when you are in the mood, celebrate the fact, because if all of a sudden you're not in the mood again, well, you're going to need the in the mood moments to hang on to, knowing that you're actually capable of actually being in the mood. And when you add this incredible song in there with the band and its absolute element, it really just takes you into another place that it's actually all right to be in the mood. So when you find yourself feeling deliriously happy about something, celebrate it, because you know what, you deserve it. We then go on to one of his more romantic sensual numbers, Moonlight Serenade. Absolutely stunning instrumentation in this one. This one actually really does bring that sound out well and truly. There's so much space in this song, so much tenderness in this song. There's nothing like a moonlight serenade to just whisk you away to some garden somewhere. The moonlight is screaming overhead. You're looking at your loved one and thinking, wow, I'm just so glad to be with you. I just got to sing about it. So you can almost imagine this band just in the background of that particular scene, just serenading the moonlight. Absolutely. Then something to go up a little bit faster, we got Chattanooga Choo Choo. Pardon me, boys. Is that the Chattanooga Choo Choo, or is that the cat that chewed the new shoes? If you got that joke that was going around too. A little bit more upbeat for Glenn Miller, and just sort of just demonstrate that he did have a few strings to his bow, or a few positions to his trombone that enabled him to create any mood that he needed. Being a sort of an arranger and composer, you could kind of compose to your sound, because when you find your sound, you can actually compose to it. So we've got Chattanooga Choo Choo. Now, it's good to know that the legacy of Glenn Miller has continued on with few incantations of the group and a few conductors over the years. So we've got Pennsylvania 65000. They actually do start playing at one point, actually shout out, Pennsylvania 65000, whatever Pennsylvania 65000 is. It must be a pretty amazing place, because there's a song written about it. Think about Penny Lane or Strawberry Fields from the Beatles, so pretty iconic places. Well, Pennsylvania 65000, also pretty cool. And then we got the iconic American Patrol as well. And so Glenn Miller changed music forever. He was one of the most unique and celebrated acts of the 20th century, particularly in that big band era. And because of that, a guy that wasn't scared to find his sound, a guy that really wanted to change music to the way that he wanted to change it, and a guy that really did bring many people along to share in the joy of the sound when he found it. It took him a while, and this is what makes the Glenn Miller story so compelling, is it took him a while to find it, but when he found it, changed music forever. So the links to those 5 clips are in the description below, and I've also included my last video from the Eagles legend Glenn Frey, so if you want to recap on him, feel free. Well, if you've come back for another one, or this is your first time to Life Reflections through Music, thank you to everyone for hanging around. You may recall a little while back I did a thank you to 40 subscribers video. That's a sincere thanks, by the way. Each one of you guys is absolutely important and significant. And I just wanted to celebrate the fact that we've got the 40 subscribers as well. So next time we're going to go on to band Globos with the song The Beat Goes On. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.